I'm Jay Horton. I make movies that make money. And today I'm talking with Michael and Sonny Mahal of the Mahal Empire.
What's up, Jason? Hey, Joe, brother. Thanks for having us on the show, brother. We really appreciate it. I've been watching your video clips for like probably 4 years now.
Oh, wow, man. That's cool. I had no idea.
That's great. It's very informative videos, and it's they're really good and they're really accurate about the movie. And that's why I was when my brother said to come on the show, I was like, yeah, it's Jason for sure, because he's actually one of those supportive filmmakers out there trying to help other people, make their movies and be very sad. Yeah, it's tough otherwise. It's a struggle. It even took us a long way before we started making any money. Years of asking mom and dad for money or self-funding projects, you name it. I mean, it took a long time to get to that level where we're finally successful. Almost like 12 years after film school till something happened. Exactly.
Totally. And you guys have ran like 30, 29 campaigns, something like that?
So yeah, we've run 27 campaigns on Indiegogo. We've run one on Kickstarter, and we've never failed to crush a goal. I don't even know how that's happened, but somehow we've just lucked out, and we've had a good backers that continue to support us project to project. But when we first started crowdfunding, it was hard to raise $10,000 in the first month.
Yeah,
and we would struggle just to do that. So our first campaign was for last day of school, and we set the goal at I want to say $20,000, and we ended up doing $58,000 on that campaign. That was our first time doing it. That was a comedy movie. The rest have been super dark. Yeah, and ever since that campaign, we went only into horror, because we learned there's no money in comedies, because what's funny in the United States doesn't necessarily that it'll be funny in China or India or other cultures because of cultural differences. So we learned horror is a universal type of storytelling that's if a movie's scary, it's going to be scary everywhere.
Right. And just so I want everybody to know, if you haven't been following these guys, they have raised like millions at this point, right?
Yeah, just over on Indiegogo alone, we've raised over $3.1 million, but that's not including equity investments. We have an LLC set up for every movie that we've ever done, and we usually name it the name of the movie.
Right.
And basically, if anybody's going to put in a large contribution, let's say over $10,000, then we want to take that off the campaign and get them to subscribe to the LLC.
Right.
Because, with Indiegogo, you're paying 5% to Indiegogo platform, and then you're paying 3% on top in credit card fees. $100, let's say, you're only getting $92 out of every 100.
Right.
So it's very smart anytime you can to take money off the campaigns through an LLC or something like that. So, we do the Indiegogo. You're not allowed to sell equity on Indiegogo. So anytime we want to sell ownership of the movie, then we have them sign a subscription agreement. And there's 100 shares per subscription agreement. Each share is 1%. And so we sell a lot of points that way too. But yeah, no, I'm sure we're getting close to, close to $5 million raised on our movies though. So
yeah, that's great. So
now you're kicking up even more because we had so many come out that have been positive. And I mean, it happens, but it's rare that, your first movie is going to be, universally loved. I mean, it's a learning process. You got to we made several short movies. We went to film school, and then we tried our hand at feature films, but it's a whole different ballgame. You don't learn it. You go to college, you don't learn the real-time work,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no book on how to be successful at filmmaking. Not that I know. It's a gray area. It's just different.
Oh, totally.
Especially distribution. Nobody has any idea how distribution.
Yeah. Anybody that says they do, they're full of it. What's your guys' background? How did you get started making movies?
So we both actually went to New York Film Academy in the backlots of Universal Studios Hollywood. It's not there anymore. Yeah, it's a couple miles away. Yeah, they moved the branch, but I went to the 1-year filmmaking program. So did my brother. I just got lucky, and I actually graduated a year early from high school, moved out to Hollywood, and my parents only allowed it because my bigger brother was with me. But as soon as I got out of their 1-year filmmaking program, I got offered a producer job for Time Warner Cable in LA. I interviewed for a PA job They offered me a producer job
At 18.
and so I was like,
Wow.
man, I'm making just as much money as I would like out of college. So I worked with them for a couple of years. Then I worked for ABC, Fox, Time Warner, CBS, all these big companies. I was a TV commercial producer for over 10 years. And basically, there'd be business owners that needed TV commercials made. And I would go meet the business owners on behalf of the TV station, write a script for them, shoot the commercial myself, edit the commercial myself, directed everything. And it was like a one-man band operation where, you do everything from concept to completion. So that's how I learned filmmaking. And then my brother, obviously, he just went straight to feature films, basically.
I mean, while he was doing that, I went into more business. I was taking business classes. Then I had a liquor store, a gas station. So was actually running a business. And then it just came to the point where it was like, all right, now let's go for it now. It's been, 10 years or so. And because, nobody, when you're young in film school, 21, nobody's going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You got to prove yourself a little bit, so
Now they do.
What is what to you guys? Because it's a real like fluid term, producer. What's a producer to you?
To me, the producer is basically, it's the bread and butter of a movie. It's really the most important position because what the producer does is they're the ones that find the script or hire the writer to write the script. They're also the ones that hire the director, all the cast and crew. They're the ones that raise the financing to be able to make the movie. And then, they help run all the organization of setting up the permits, the locations. I mean, we're talking about indie filmmaking. We're not talking about the studio level.
Yeah. Otherwise, you get a lot more hats to wear.
Yeah, so the producer really wears a lot of hats. So, I mean, even when the movie's done, the producer is the one that's going to be there to oversee the post-production, the distribution process, and
Marketing,
and all the way down to the accounting of the movie and submitting all the 1099s to the IRS and doing the accounting for the LLC and stuff. So, I mean, it's really, most people work on a movie for a few weeks, but the producers, the directors, they're on from basically the beginning all the way to the end, and it's like a 2-year process,
Yeah, and you guys have worked with a lot of different directors. Do you have plans to like get behind the camera, like directing, or do you like the producing lane?
So we originally started off directing our first couple of films, but we really realized it's just too much of a headache to be able to produce and direct at the same time. So we realized our best talent is obviously raising the money, and that's the hardest thing to do. So we're focusing on what we're good at, because if we're spending 60 or 75% of our time prepping for the shoots, because directing is a lot of work, prepping your shot list, to working with your talent, getting them up to speed, to making sure that you get everything done in a day. So we just focus with the logistical operations, the pre-production, hiring everybody, raising all the money, doing all the marketing and the distribution and stuff like that.
So I ended up liking producing better. Initially you think you want to be a director, but you never know. Sometimes you might want to be the DP, or it just ended up that way. But to answer your question, yeah, me and my brother interested in maybe doing one for fun sometime in the future. But right now we're just trying to build our brand.
If somebody else wants to do the fundraising and raise,
You come direct, yeah.
But it's really it keeps us so busy already.
Half our filmmaking is just raising the money.
Yeah, and we're having over 100 backers each movie, so we have to communicate with every single backer. Make sure they get their perks, they get the scripts, they know where we're shooting,
They're happy with everything.
That's
a lot of 100 different people.
Right.
It's not for everybody to be able to do that.
So you guys have made quite a name for yourselves in the crowdfunding community. What made you even decide to try crowdfunding, like go down that road initially?
So our first couple films were basically self-funded by us, or our parents helped a lot.
Humble investment.
Basically we just learned that, it's hard to find people with that type of money that have hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to give you. It's very rare. So we found out it's easier to get, anywhere from $1,000 to $100,000 and get it from a lot of people. And the real benefit of, crowdfunding is, honestly, this business would not be sustainable given the current markets without the crowdfunding. Like if we raise, typically $300,000 on a movie and that's all on Indiegogo, and then we have $200,000 worth of equity investment separate. So let's say we have a $500,000 budget. Well, the movie only needs to make $200,000 for the actual equity investors to get their money back and start turning a profit. And all that extra money was donated. And that basically let us create a high production value and a benefit for the investors to.
Yeah, it minimizes the financial risk to.
Yeah, so we're getting
this is a very high risk business.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of. I even go on Forbes, look up how many percent of Hollywood movies make a movie. 8 out of 10 Hollywood movies are flops. So
yeah.
What's profitable is you have that 1 or 2 rogue films out of the 10 that generate so much revenue that all the losses on the other movie, they're more than able to cover everything. And a lot of the investments we take, the investors are getting roles on the movie, and that's more important than them. Like the equity is obviously important and making money is important, but, that's a lot of our backers' passion is, just to be a part of films and be on sets. Most of our backers are very successful business owners, and they don't need to do, this type of business to make money. They're successful bankers or somebody owns a law firm and something.
Just want to make sure the movie's good, high production.
Yeah, they live in a state that just doesn't have much production opportunities. And so we're giving people the opportunity to come out and be a part of a large production with a lot of famous celebrities. And so they're building up a good demo reel with us. We're getting good distribution, Blu-ray, all the VOD platforms. Right. And, they start with us and then they get agency representation. A lot of people went on to do big things and just work, they start with us and they move on to bigger and better things, after getting a good demo reel. They just don't have the opportunities where they live. So I think we have a really...
You got to make your own opportunities in this industry, though. You don't count on anybody except yourself. Make them for yourself. Sometimes you get lucky, but that's rare.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you really do, but do you guys really enjoy the crowdfunding at this point?
I mean, honestly, it's great to raise all the money and stuff, but honestly, I'd like to just get one check from one person instead of having to deal with 100 people because, you want to be able to make the movie creatively the way you want to do it. You don't want to have to add in any cameo roles. You don't want to have all these extra producers involved in the project, extra actors and stuff. So, if we could get the right amount of money, I would do it. But if we're just raising the budgets basically we're raising, then I wouldn't take it because really, and we've talked to a lot of Hollywood players and like people in the studio level, if you don't have at least $10 million, you're not going to turn a profit because you need several $1 million just in the marketing alone. So let's say you make a movie, for Hollywood says, if you have $10 million, you make the movie for $7 million and you have $3 million left over for the marketing budget, then you have a formula that could, generate a profit versus, the budgets that we're working at.
For any of us indie artists, how much marketing money do we have at the end?
Yeah.
And how much can we depend on the distributor to come through with what they say they're going to market? Which is
it's hard enough to make the movie, and then when it's done, it's hard enough to finish the editing and then to get distribution and then to have marketing dollars. After that is very, very rare for any indie artist.
Do you see a time in the future where maybe you're not crowdfunding anymore? Do you see it getting to that point?
Yeah, honestly, that's the direction we're heading.
We're trying to work on
Yeah. So we're basically, everything we raise, we basically put it in on all the movies
to invest in ourselves for the future.
Yeah.
Show people what we can do with the money that we are.
Yeah. So we're building a brand, and honestly, if you look at the budgets we're raising, it shows on screen and more. And we're just trying to move up to that next level. These big studios, they're not going to give you millions of dollars unless you have a big track record. So, we haven't even started talking to them until we decided we have 10 good features behind us that are, our first 2 films, we don't count those because, those were learning processes and stuff. But now we're about to work on our 14th feature film. So we have
almost 10 out. But by next year, we'll pass it.
So then we'll start looking for agency representation to start reaching out to the studios to get, financing that way.
But like real quick, let's give the folks, let's do 5 like general crowdfunding tips.
I'll make it 10.
Okay. Yeah.
The first thing I say is start an LLC for your movie, because don't put your personal tax information on an LLC, because they're going to point you really hard for the taxes and you're going to lose a lot of that money. So always start an LLC because you also get the subscription agreement and you can sell shares separate from Indiegogo. And the other thing I always say is figure out what your goal is. All right. If your goal is $100,000 and you're a first-time crowdfunder or you're still new to it, I would set the goal at half that or less than half that, because you can always crush a goal, but it's easy to fail reaching the goal you want. So I say set the goal lower than you want, because you can always crush it. And the fact that, if your goal is $100,000, then somebody's going to be like, if I put $100 on it, that's just stupid. They're not going to hit it.
Right.
So always set the goal lower. Another tip I have, and what we realized is, I've over 20,000 LinkedIn followers. My brother has a lot more. He has how many Twitter followers do you have? 61,000. Facebook, I have 5,000 people, and Indiegogo has a tracking mechanism, and we found out none of the money is coming from LinkedIn. Nothing's coming from Twitter. We're talking 1 or 2% of what we're raising is actually coming from those platforms. It's all Facebook.
Right.
Well, if you have to choose where to spend your time, Facebook's where it's at. The best investors are the ones that already backed your campaign. So if you ever are struggling a day and you're like, man, I can't raise any money, I don't know what to do, look at who's already put money on your campaign, because a good Indiegogo backer will back your campaign 4 or 5 times or more.
Always upgrade them to the next, whatever perks you got.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask people for more money. I basically have to do it every day, and you never know what somebody has unless you ask. So don't be afraid to ask people for money, because we've had people put $1,000 on the campaign and we've turned them into $200,000 investors, or we've had people put $50 on the campaign and we turn them into 50K backers. So, don't be afraid to ask people for money. Keep changing your perks every week, keep adding some new perks, keep it interesting.
The presentation is very important.
Oh yeah. The most important thing is, like my brother said, is
Indiegogo.
Have a great video. If you don't have a good video and you didn't buy stock shots, you didn't shoot it professionally, already you're going to fail there.
You're not showcasing your skills, at the basic level.
If you don't have a good poster to show people, you don't have good graphics, and honestly, you already failed there. We spend $3,000 on our Indiegogo video and our perks before we even launch any campaign. So it's important, to invest in your videos. We found out marketing for these campaigns, nothing ever comes from marketing. We run Facebook ads.
Like paid marketing.
Yeah, paid marketing. Yeah. So we've done that. It hasn't done anything for us. We found out the best way to raise money is to directly message your network on Facebook. And then another great way to raise money is look at other people investing in crowdfunding campaigns, because those backers, they already know what crowdfunding is, and those are the best backers to be going after, so
Oh yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't go to IMDb when I did mine and started looking. All right, who is?
I'm a brand
on the Mahals.
I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Same way when you get reviews, you go to other people that have the same subgenre, like indie horror, see who's reviewing them, and then hit them up.
Yeah. So I always recommend launching your campaign on a Friday. That's payday for most people. Yeah, so that's always a good time to launch. Never launch in the morning because the traffic's very low on Facebook. I always launch maybe around 2 p.m. Pacific time, because that's 5 p.m. on the Eastern side. If you launch any earlier than that, there's hardly anybody on Facebook. I found out if this is a full-time job, crowdfunding, honestly, but if you're limited to 2 hours, If you only crowdfund from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time, I found those to be the most productive hours. And if you only have a set amount of time, I would just do those hours because that's where 80 to 90% of the revenue comes in. And the number one tip that we have is, don't be afraid to fail. Every time we set these campaigns, we have no freaking idea who's going to put any money on the campaign, what's going to happen. I mean, it's just, hey guys, we're launching a campaign in a week, back us.
Be confident when you're running one. Don't be one of those people that's always complaining. That doesn't make you look good.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy, but, crowd some good people around you.
Yeah, crowdfunding isn't about, what you do in a week or 2 weeks. It's every day. You have to sit there and grind all day. And, some days we raise, $20,000 in a day, and then other days it's hard for me to even raise $500. So, don't be, and it's tough after you go through 2 or 3 of those days, you feel like a failure, even though you're on our level and you're raising millions of dollars. Like when you have a day where you raise nothing or a few days like that, it really like emotionally breaks you down. So just never give up, and every day try to raise a little money. And if you don't end up hitting your goal, Indiegogo allows a one-time extension for 30 days. So you can campaign up to 60 days. So if you're not there before 30, extend it, another 30 days. And always, if you hit your goal, set it in demand.
And
Because even if you don't want to campaign after that, somebody could literally just look up your campaign 2 months later, put a couple.
Happened to somebody's been like, hey, it's been 3 or 4 months. Somebody just put $2,000 on there.
And that helps them turn them into a $50,000 investor. So just always keep your campaigns in demand no matter what.
Right. And what is your like day to day like on a campaign? I know it's like, it's responding to people that have donated, marketing more.
So I mean, it just depends. I mean, I usually start every day going into all our Facebook pages. I share the link for the Indiegogo campaign. We share the video. And then basically from there, I start looking at whoever's backed the campaign. I start messaging them for like additional deals. And 90% of all the deals we make are secret perks. And people are like, what's a secret perk? Well, there's the perks on your campaign, but if you want to raise a lot of money, you're not going to do it just off of those perks. We've got to create secret deals. Like somebody you approach for, let's say, $1,000 perk. They might not have $1,000, but they have $800. So we'll create a secret perk, give that backer a deal, and then we got that $800. And then, what people start when they invest in one of our campaigns and by the end are 2 completely different things. We have the $1,000 is really like just the hook to grab them in, but at the end they're in for $10,000 and they're like, Michael, I don't know how you did it. How'd you get the money? How'd you get it, Sonny? So just don't be afraid to ask for money, and don't be afraid to fail or anything like that. So,
Right.
I mean, the best piece of advice I could give you is if you're not raising money, you just need to, type in a little message and, cut and paste it to everybody you see online in your Facebook thing. And that's helped me raise a lot of money right there.
And do your research. Go to successful crowdfunding campaigns. Like, go check ours out. See what we're doing, and then kind of try to, get somewhere around there.
And don't be afraid to set high perks. Like originally when we started, we set 5K perks, and people are like, you're stupid. No one's ever going to put 5,000. People put $5,000 on a campaign all day long now. And then we've had people claim our $25,000 several times. So now we created a $100,000 perk. We're going to get somebody to get it. But we actually had somebody get us stuff from Costa Rica. Now they're interested in, possibly developing the next movie with that 100K perk. And this time was the first time we offered it. So.
Yeah, I saw that one on there. I was like, oh wow, I bet somebody will. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, you've started, like, each project gets a little bit bigger. It seems like what's been some of the biggest like challenges in wrangling those sets? Like for example, the medieval.
Yeah, he's asking. So I mean, with that large number of people, Honestly, you need good assistant directors. You need
AD is the most important in my opinion.
I mean, honestly, yeah, we've learned that ADs are the most important position on the set because they are the organization of the movies. They're the ones that create the shooting schedule, make sure everything's organized for the day. People know when to get in for wardrobe, makeup, when to be on set, what days they're filming. I mean, they are the keys.
Hire somebody who's worked out dozens of them.
Yeah, so
You see these indie people, they got like their best friend or their friend.
Yeah.
No clue what they're doing. You don't realize how important the AD is.
especially when you got over 100 people, actors on your movie or something. And we've had directors that are good directors, but they don't have good ADs. And then we run 3 days over schedule, 4 days over schedule, and that's when you will go bankrupt as a filmmaker. So always have good AD.
Makes that one of your highest priorities.
But and you were saying what type of issues have we run into on set?
Yeah, challenges. I mean, you don't have to get super specific.
Well, COVID has been the worst, obviously. At Bermuda Island, when we were shooting that, there was a COVID outbreak on the island. The CDC showed up, and we had to kind of rewrite the script and to finish what days we could because, we the people that did catch it, we kind of, we put them aside, and then other people had to step up to the plate a little more, do double the work. And then we had to come back and shoot a couple more days. But COVID's just been really expensive.
So in that movie, that was $150,000 hit between having to not be able to complete the filming at the time because we flew everybody out to Puerto Rico.
No, a small island off the coast.
Okay, so we shot in Puerto Rico though too.
Yeah.
And we shot in Vieques, which is an island off of east of Puerto Rico. We also shot in LA. But when we got to that small island in Vieques, one of our crew members, they flew in from LA, and you can do the testing, but it doesn't necessarily show up for a couple days with COVID. So a few people got sick. We had to shut down, and then we had to fly so many people back to Puerto Rico at our dime. So on that one, that put us in the red. And we've also have other instances like when we're shooting a movie like Bus Party to Hell, we're shooting in the middle of the desert and there's high winds, and an RV we rented, the top just ripped off. And so that was $10,000. And in the same movie, if you're doing a movie and you got a bunch of kill scenes, don't do it on the first or second day with that business, do it on the that second day of Bus Party, we had like people's heads being stomped on, blood shooting everywhere all over the bus. And the next day they're like, this bus, we're never giving you this bus again. And we're like, oh shit, man, how are we going to make this movie? And then we ended up bribing that guy $10,000 just to let us keep going, So, or when we're shooting Bridge of the Doom, somehow our props and art department lost $25,000 of props or it was stolen. We don't know, but you can't plan for stuff like that. And if they hadn't let us know in the time we had our insurance policy, then it wouldn't have been a problem. But if you tell us 90 days after our insurance policy, oh, by the way, we lost $25,000 worth.
They didn't even tell us the equipment rental places.
Yeah, the equipment rental places like, where's our shit at? So you never know what could happen. That was a Bridge of the Doom. That was another one where we went 4 days. We had to do an extra 4 days, and that's why it took so long to come out. And then we hired an editor. They didn't do a good job, and then we had to rehire a new editor. So you never know what anything's going to cost in film. There's what you want it to cost, and then what it actually costs to do it right. And they're nowhere near the same.
So, like starting with, I guess with Bus Party, how have you guys approached distribution?
So honestly, that's been one of our most successful films. We signed that one to Gravitas Ventures. Yeah, we've signed usually every movie domestically to Gravitas Ventures because they actually report and pay on time.
And they spend money on marketing, and they show you where to spend it.
Yeah, so they're at least spending like close to $10,000 on the marketing of the movie, and they're getting you millions of hits for that amount of money, and they're showing you where they spend it on Facebook, Instagram, Linktree. They're showing you how many people actually clicked and ordered it. But with them, we know we're going to get a Blu-ray DVD release.
Right.
Get a DVD release, and we're going to get up all the major VOD platforms. In that case, they got us a big Redbox deal, and we got an 18,500 Redbox locations for over a year. So that was a big chunk of money that we got up front.
They got us on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, Epics as well, and a bunch of other platforms. So they've been our go-to distributor. And I always tell all my investors this: to like, I never tell anybody like as a filmmaker a good minimum guarantee. People ask, what's a minimum guarantee? So when you shop for a movie, nobody buys movies anymore, and if they tell you they do, most likely 9 times out of 10 they're full of shit. I mean, unless you're like a major studio acquiring a movie, like Paramount or something,
Right.
They are not going to buy your movie. What they're going to do, actually 95% of what they're going to do is offer you nothing, and they'll basically do a percentage-based deal where, hey, 75% of whatever comes in is yours. This is the marketing and expense cap. Let's say the marketing and expense cap is $50,000. So, after your movie generates over $50,000 for the marketing and expense cap, then 75% of whatever you make after that is yours.
And always put a marketing cap in your contract. Yeah, otherwise you'll never see it.
Use an entertainment lawyer to redline your contract, because you will never see a dime unless you use an entertainment lawyer. Another thing is, filmmakers need to quit giving away their films for free. Don't give somebody, the Lamborghini if they don't even want to pay for the keys. So typically, right now, what a good minimum guarantee is $25,000 for North American rights, $25,000 for international. I would consider if you get a $50,000 advance, and the only way you're going to do that is if you have big stars on the movie.
Some name talent.
If you don't have any name talent, you're not going to get a minimum guarantee, most likely.
And if you're doing a genre like indie horror, because that's probably the more successful genre of all the indie genres out there.
Yeah, so let's say we get a $50,000 advance on a movie like Bus Party in Hell. And it was actually about, I think we got $45,000 for total for North America and international. We signed to 2 different companies. That movie still, we're getting payouts every 90 days. The reporting's coming on time, and the checks are coming in. So, I mean, don't be afraid that the investor's only giving you, $50,000 up front. These guys want to mitigate the risk, because if they just bought every movie, they'd go in the hole like everybody else. So what they want to do is limit their risk, give you a low, I call it an advance, like a sign-on bonus, basically.
That's what it is.
Essentially, that's what it is. So, if you're giving them a $500,000 film and they just pay you $50,000 up front, and then let's say you come up with a marketing expense cap of $50,000, that's typically what we do, anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000, depending on the movie. So once they generate the $50,000 they gave you up front back, and the $50,000 in marketing expense that you agreed on, then they give you more checks. And so basically, I tell people this business works the same way as the Hollywood movie box office. If somebody makes $100 million movie in Hollywood, there's not a $150 million check waiting for them the day it comes out. However, the movie performs based on ticket sales and then DVD rentals, VOD rentals. You get paid the same way in this business. However many people order the movie, however many people stream it, that's how you get paid. So you can make money in this business, but just make sure, A, you're using an entertainment lawyer to redline the agreements. If you're not going to see a penny. And then, do your research on these distributors, because 95% of them are shady and predatory. They're predator deals, and they're out to your blood.
If they'll take your movie and just sit on it, do nothing, and whenever it comes in, that's it. You're never going to get it.
Yeah, so
that's why you should always just ask other people that are signed to that label, what's your experience with them?
Truth be told, Gravitas is the only one that we found that reports and pays on time. We're getting those advances, and then we keep getting checks after that. And the reporting and their accounting comes in the day it's due. And never had that with any other companies. So
when we hit them up, they hit you back up. Yeah, some of these distributors, you hit them up, it's weeks and you still haven't heard a response.
And they have a whole team behind it, like some marketing person in touch with you, somebody that'll just help you with deliverables. They have a huge team of like 50 people, and it's like a real good organization and stuff. So And then we've had
It's the only one we could really vouch for.
Yeah, no.
That's why
I've heard a lot of good stuff about Gravitas.
it's that's one of those ones where like some people haven't had a success with them, but they didn't use an entertainment lawyer, because when we first used an entertainment lawyer with them, the entertainment lawyer's like, "What's the marketing expense cap?" Well, there is none listed in the original agreement. So then they'll be like $100,000. Well, how many films are going to see, that type of money, quickly? It's going to take several years. So you don't get that marketing expense to 30 or 50,000. That way, when we landed the big Redbox deal, then we're already, $45,000 up front, and within the first cycle of reporting in 90 days, we're already getting more money. Now that movie's been out 5 years, we're still getting checks. Oh, yeah, they've been a really good company to work with.
So, do you guys do all of your own marketing? I mean, I know the distributors help, but I mean, like, are you doing a lot of your own?
I'll let my brother kind of take this.
I mean, yeah, as far as what we started doing is you always want to do press releases. That we didn't do that early on, but I mean, you have somebody like we have Michael Joy from Macabre Marketing. He sends out press releases for us now to all the horror magazines, and not just from when the movie's out. Even right now, we're crowdfunding. He's putting it out there. We're already starting to market, and a lot of people I see making indie film don't even try to get any kind of reviews hardly. They're missing out on that press materials. I mean, just having 100 people go out there and just post about it.
My brother, my brother does a lot of the marketing, and basically he's mostly the one that actually reaches out to all these reviewers, because the rule number one of indie filmmaking is you got to market your own movies, and if you don't,
you shouldn't count on anybody else.
Yeah.
Our distributors spend money, like I said, and they show us the clicks and stuff, but ultimately it's up to you as a filmmaker to.
We try to ask our people, hey, can you make a post about it? Or half the team, they'll work on a movie, but they never even make a post about it, and I don't understand it.
So that people that do that in our agreements, so you need to
post it at least 3 times or something. I mean, it's sad that you even have to ask any professional people, especially when people love to work on our movies. Some people don't like to post or advertise about it, but hey, you got 5,000 friends that me and my brother don't have on your list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another thing to answer your question is we're getting 40 to 50 reviews per movie minimum. So
none are good.
Yeah, then you have to reach out to every single reviewer and get them interested in reviewing your movie. And we found out that's the best way to market your movie, because some of these reviewers that my brother hits up and stuff, they have millions of followers, or 1 million or 500,000, and that's when that's the best marketing you could really do. A lot of the marketing we do is obviously on social media and stuff. That's another good thing about the crowdfunding is, with all those base of backers, look at all those people that are going to buy your DVD, support the movie and promote it.
Yeah, so we don't even sell DVDs on our crowdfunding, which is what a lot of people try to do, because we sign right away, so.
Yeah.
And just any perks with shipping, we just don't do it. It's just, you're going to give yourself a freaking headache, and it's just...
Yep. Yeah, I'll never do physical perks again.
Yeah, it's too much of a headache.
Yeah,
there's not even that much money in it. So.
No, there's not. No. It's relatively.
It's like raising a lot, but half the money goes back into the shipping and the Blu-ray or whatever you're trying to give back, and then it's the headache shipping everything, and then dealing with all the backers. 1 month after the movie stuff, where's my Blu-ray? Where's my Blu-ray? Dude, it takes like 2 years by the time they, start shooting until the movie comes out. So you got to deal with a lot of bullshit. You got to deal with people that want refunds. We usually just give it, because honestly, I'm not bad vacation, and some idiot that puts $25 on the campaign is going to complain more than somebody that puts $50,000 on your campaign. So I just give them their money back. Indiegogo holds 5% of all funds raised for 6 months. You raise $100,000, $5,000 is going to be on hold. So if anybody wants a refund, they can automatically do it themselves. They don't even need to involve you. So I always recommend give people their refunds. So I've had people, refund $5,000, curse me out, and then a year later they put over $200,000 in the movie. So don't burn bridges, because
always be a business professional. Don't bring emotion into these things.
Yeah, because the people will come back. If you have a good reputation, people will come back.
Remember, this is a business first and foremost, making a movie. So be a business professional. Even I know sometimes it's gonna test you, but do that behind the scenes. That's like that's me and my brother's private conversations. Otherwise, just business.
Movie making is really stressful.
Very stressful.
Now, do you consider the crowdfunding campaign to be like a good marketing tool as well, like in building the brand?
Yeah, I would say so now, especially since, like I said, we just started using like Michael Joy. He's already sending out press releases to every horror, outlet that we're crowdfunding. So people are already seeing it, they know about it already. And when you're marketing movies, people sometimes need to see it several times over a period of time before they're interested. So, definitely I would say so.
Yeah, another good thing about the crowdfunding is you can go up to a distributor and be like, so you want to know what the interest of my movie is? Hey, people gave me $300,000 on Indiegogo to make the movie. So look, obviously there's already a huge fan base for the movie. So in that regards, you can be like, hey, I got 300,000 in pre-sales already.
That's one thing that took a little extra time on our vampire movie, because I guess we're the first people to sign to Lionsgate that have been crowdfunded. So we had to have a whole special Zoom meeting with their whole legal counsel to explain to them what that was. It's my brother he used the Terrifier 2 as a good reference. Like, look what these guys did with their $250K.
But not even that, but with the COVID happening and stuff, they just got severely backlogged. Mm-hmm. So anybody signed with Lionsgate right now, I mean, you've been waiting almost nearly 2 years now, up to 3. So yeah, they're taking like 2 to 3 years to release the movie now.
That's why I'd rather stick with distributors like Gravitas, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, they
in and out.
In Gravitas, they give us the release date that day. They'll tell you, okay, you sign with us tomorrow, your movie will be out so and so, and that's important, to know when you're.
So it's always good. That's another thing. When you sign, ask them, when will I know the release date?
Right.
It's going to be 2 years. You might not want to sign,
So, what you guys have worked with a lot of different people. What do you look for in collaborators?
I guess that the number one thing we have is really the way to get the keys to the kingdom is really to have a good script. I mean, we're always looking for content and to find a good movie. Scripts, like,
it starts with us for the script. If you're the director and he wrote it, then you might have a good chance that we would want you to direct it as well.
Yeah. So I mean, we've collaborated with a lot of the same people, like Michael Sue. He's shot 10 movies and he's directed 4 of them. Adam, I think he's on. He started as an AD and he worked on like 6 movies. And then
he came up one day, so let me direct one for you. We're 4 or 5 movies I've AD now.
And then with Brandon, we hired his wife, Devaney, on Bus Party to Hell. And so
Death Count.
Yeah. And then we became Death Count Brandon. And so we let Brandon direct a couple movies he did. Attack of the Unknown.
Sorry, and like the famous actors we hired, it's because we liked them previously. That's why we wanted to collaborate with them. We're fans. I say Krillin Sorbo, for example, in our fantasy movie, we grew up watching Hercules, and we're making a movie set kind of in the same type of fantasy medieval type of world. So, that was a choice there.
Yeah, so we work with like a lot of celebrities, and like I said, it just comes down to if you have those celebrities, then people on Indiegogo will pay big money to get a seat
part of that project,
be a part of the project or get 1 or 2 speaking lines with somebody.
It helps with distribution, obviously.
Some of the celebrities we hire, over $12,000 a day. So I mean, they get expensive. So
you got to be smart and be like, put them throughout the movie, but you only have them for like 2 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You got to be resourceful that way when you make these lower budget movies.
But the best way we found out to reach out to the celebrities is IMDb Pro, reach out to their agent, and then do a deal with the agent.
Okay. So what's 2023 looking like for you?
It's gonna be busy. We'll start it off right away end of next month with Well, actually, no, before that, we have the premiere for Bermuda Island.
Yeah, so January 20th, which is Friday, we have the premiere of Bermuda Island, and that's also when the movie gets released domestically here in the United States on Blu-ray, DVD, VOD, and we're also doing the premiere that day. And then on January 26th, we're going to start filming Alien Storm. We're kicking off filming with Sorbo in LA. We got 2 days of filming in LA. And then we have 12 days of filming in Las Vegas. So that one's going to be a lot of fun. So that's our January, early February project. In April, we're going to do a smaller horror film with a less cast. We're finalizing a script. But our June project is already finalized. We're doing a pirate movie.
Our big movie of the year.
Yeah, it's our big movie. We're shooting it in the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. Matter of fact, January 2nd through the 6th, we have our director, Adam Worth, and also the writer going out with one of our production managers, BJ Mezek, also an investor actor in our projects. But they're going to do all the location scouting. We could have went, but we have the campaign running. You got the thing here.
So it's a waste of extra few thousand.
Yeah,
bucks. We're trying to save money nowadays.
So, we'll just fly it a week before and, we'll save a bunch of money and just come for the shoot.
Then on top of that, we will, what movies do we have releasing after that? Arena Wars, they'll probably at the end of the year, and then Devil's Night.
And then we're waiting for Lionsgate to give us the
Bloodthirst. So it could be 4 movies coming out next year, but 3 for sure.
That's great.
And you'll be making 3 movies, so.
And then we signed the domestic on most of these movies, but international we're gonna sign.
We gotta sign 4 movies to international now next month.
Yeah, we have 4 right now that we're gonna sign.
You know how much paperwork goes into
deliverables, the way are filmmakers.